What's up, Gearheads? It's Drew Krag again. Today we are joined with the Fishman Loudbox 100. Now, this is an acoustic guitar amplifier. It also has the capabilities of plugging in a condenser microphone, which we'll be talking about in a minute. This guitar features an 8-inch speaker and a 1-inch tweeter. It's 100 watts, which is an awful lot of power for such small speakers. And we're going to be talking about why or why not that's effective. And the other feature, basically, Fishman made this amp for one reason. I think they finally started reading these letters they were getting from disgruntled folk artists all over the place who were tired of going to their open mic and dealing with very crappy sound systems. And they wanted a unit where they could do everything all in one, plug in their microphone, plug in their guitar, get a nice mix, get some feedback issues solved, and get some digital effects in there if needed, be able to do it all in one box and be able to lift it without breaking your arm. So that's kind of where they were coming from when they built this amp. So if that's you, if you're a folk artist or a blues artist or anybody who uses acoustic instruments and sings or works with the singer, and you're looking for a solution, an alternative to large, bulky sound systems that feed back and are often more power than you need for an acoustic sound, this might work for you. So let's walk through it. Basically, if you look at the front of this amp, you can see there's two channels. There's two inputs right here, 1/4-inch inputs. The first channel is on the very top, second channel is on the bottom here. The second channel does feature an XLR input, which has phantom power capabilities. That's a really nice feature. A lot of vocalists prefer to use condenser mics, even performing live. I know that EV makes some really nice vocal live condenser microphones. A lot of vocalists like to use that, so it's good to have that option. Saves you from having to buy a phantom power adapter, which is just another thing you have to carry around at a gig. And again, that's what they were trying to eliminate with this amp. So as we move along, we have our two 1/4-inch inputs for each channel. Each one has a 10 decibel pad, which is nice. It allows you to hook up multiple different types of instruments from different dynamic levels to it. If you don't know, a pad is just, it lowers the overall volume of the input 10 decibels. So it makes for a more versatile amp. Then we also have our gain knob. Very standard. This is your input gain setting. We're going to be experimenting a little bit with tone a little bit later, so we'll be talking more about this knob. We have a three-band parametric EQ for each channel, low, mid, and high, which is pretty standard. We have an anti-feedback knob for each channel, which is a nice feature. We'll be talking about that in a minute. And then this I really like. We got a phase button for each channel. It's not a phaser. What the phase button does is it inverts the wave. So let's say you're really particular about your acoustic sound. You like to use the pickup inside the acoustic guitar, but you also like to mic it up and mix or blend the signals. Sometimes when you're doing stuff like that, you may encounter phase problems where one wave counteracts the other wave and they end up canceling each other out, and your end result is a very thin sound. You push either one of those buttons and your problem's solved. So this is a nice live solution to phase problems. So that's a great feature. We also have an effects level knob, which controls the amount of effects, the amount of effects inside the actual Fishman unit, the depth of the effects, I should say. And this other effects level knob controls the master level of the effects. So you have like a way to mix the effects in, and then you have the depth of the effects. So you can adjust both those. And then right in between here is your effect settings. You have 2 hall reverbs, a chorus, and some plate reverbs as well, which is really good for vocals and snare drums, ironically. And then here you have your master volume at the very end. You also have a master mute. That's actually a really nice feature. If you ever have the feedback problems and you don't know which knob to turn down, you can just hit the mute. If you're not sure which channel is feeding back or something like that. That mutes everything. So that's a really good feature to have. So let's play a little bit through this. Right now we are using the direct out on this. So we haven't mic'd up the amp itself. So you're not actually going to be hearing the speakers. You're going to be hearing the direct out of the amp. So it's going to sound a little different. Personally, I'm not the biggest fan of 8-inch speakers. I find them kind of difficult to mic up. But that's not what these speakers were designed to do. They were designed to provide you with a stage volume. And you use the direct outs to plug into an even bigger sound system if needed. So we're just going to go through. I have this Gibson right here. So not bad, very clean, acoustic sounds. I'm going to experiment with the gain a little bit, and we can hear what kind of tonal variations that's going to cause. So as I crank it up a little bit more, I'm going to turn the master down to compensate for it. So it seems to get a little bit more rich, a little bit fatter of a tone. If I turn the gain down a little bit, it's going to probably sound a little bit thinner. And you may notice a couple of the strings on this guitar aren't as loud as others. Gotta hand it to Gibson. That's not really very good pickup design for this guitar. The nickel strings aren't as loud as the steel strings. That could be a problem, but that's off the topic.